If people who are capable of work refuse, then they'll get nothing. That's fair.
Every politician I hear just says the people who will need help will receive help. Bull. Absolute and utter bull. Because you don't know enough about the system and how it works. Tens of thousands are then cut off and have to reclaim. It is an absolute farce of a system. So I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to take that risk for my wife. So you will not be getting my vote.
You probably noticed the usual approach within right-wing parties while electioneering for office that's developed a distinctly observable pattern in the UK since 1979, when Margaret Thatcher dragged us into the golden age of neoliberalism. That is, promise to give more to those most in need in society, and then, as soon as they're in government, immediately renege on that promise and implement cuts on low-wage workers, the unemployed and the disabled. It happened back then.
To try to fulfil the trust and confidence that the British people have placed in me and the things in which I believe.
It's happened since then.
The huge responsibility that is upon me and the great trust that the British people have placed in me.
And it happened at the last general election.
Change begins now.
However, even though Reform and Nigel Farage's popularity both seem to be on the wane, they've jumped the party political gun and announced that they'd cut a massive £50 billion from the personal independent payment budget before the next scheduled election.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
The announcement was made on Monday during a speech that BBC News were more than willing to dedicate an uninterrupted half an hour to, followed by the full press Q&A afterwards. If implemented, this policy would have a severe impact on hundreds of thousands of people currently claiming P.I.P, with many of them having waited years to get their applications approved. To a chorus of "what the actual f***s," the pushback has already started in earnest, with Robert Jenrick already finding himself on the receiving end of a very awkward phone call from a viewer on Jeremy Vile's slot on Talk Crap TV. Even the notoriously conservative host himself joined in the critique of this policy that could see a chunk of Reform's voter demographic abandon the party in the blink of an eye. Let's see what's happening.
George is in Dundee. George, you through to Robert Jenrick.
Hiya, how are you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I was a Reform supporter, but after thinking about what you said yesterday, the last 24 hours, you've kind of lost a couple of votes in our household. I'll tell you the reason why. I take it you've never claimed benefits, right? We have been through, my wife claims the equivalent of P.I.P in Scotland, and she's been through hell 3 times trying to reclaim it. Part of the problem was your Conservative government last time who tried to reform these benefits. People fall through the net, and every politician I hear just says the people who will need help will receive help. Bull. Absolute and utter bull. Because you don't know enough about the system and how it works. Tens of thousands are then cut off and have to reclaim. It is an absolute farce of a system. So I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to take that risk for my wife. So you will not be getting my vote.
Robert?
Well, if I can give you some reassurance, what we're proposing is to keep the current system of P.I.P. So your wife shouldn't be losing that, but we are going to reform it.
Reform it? Well, we know what that usually means. Cuts. But this lot's are so terrible that in the current vernacular, reformed it should be a thing people say following an irreversible error like, "Sorry darling, I know I promised to make us a delicious romantic meal tonight, but I fell asleep while the oven was on and I've completely reformed it."
We are going to reform it.
Or, "It's totally f***ing reformed, mate. Big time."
We are going to reform it so that we get those people who frankly shouldn't be on it
tennis elbow
back off it and back into the workplace, which does not, I mean, I don't want to pry into your wife's condition unless you want to share it with us, but it does not sound as if she's one of those people who's taking advantage by any
George, you would
by
accept
any
that
means.
people are taking advantage, wouldn't you?
I would say not as many as they think under the current rules. What they should do is have set illnesses.
Hold on 1 second. Are you telling me that there are 2 million people? See, this is where this is just my opinion, mate, and I respect you ringing because that's the whole point of a democracy. The system was set up to help people like your wife. It was not set up, mate, to give people with tennis elbow the ability to sit on their arse and do nothing, or have 6 months off because they've gone online on a computer and ticked a box and they've got anxiety. And it strikes me, whatever the political party, I've done this with the Tories, I've done it with Reform, I've done it with the Liberal Democrats, whenever anybody talks about, truthful answer as a man here, right? Changing the system, the genuine, which is what I said 25 minutes ago, the genuine claimants get really fearful and they think, oh my God, it's going to be taken away. But what you don't say to yourself is, there are hundreds of thousands of people milking this system that are making it more difficult for your wife to get the money that all the people know she should get, pal.
Just why the twats in teal have decided to change tact from the usual pointing at the coast or putting the word woke behind things that they don't like isn't known. The reputation for ineptitude goes before them, of course. Just look at any council or constituency they've ever won, and it's easy to see why, but surely even they would realise how unpopular this would be, not just in general, but amongst their own voters as well. Naturally, the older people get, the more likely they are to rely on such payments, like the example we heard on the call-in show a moment ago. You're more than twice as likely to be a claimant in your 60s than you are in your 20s, for example. Simply put, Reform have potentially thrown hundreds of thousands of votes away in a single afternoon, with over 500,000 people currently getting P.I.P. As Jenrick and his cohorts continue to try and defend this insane decision, we're only likely to see more people openly moving away from the party and, unfortunately, into the open arms of Rupert Lowe's Restore. If you're not familiar with their political polarity, it is, if you can imagine, even further to the right of Farage's Reform, and have more or less put mass deportations, including British citizens who they don't like the colour of, at the top of their goose-stepping agenda.
Haben Sie mich gerade als Nazi beschimpft?
While that vote shift will almost inevitably follow, the question needs to be asked, was this actually a deliberate move as part of a rumoured pact between the two parties that are actually companies, by the way, or are Reform really that stupid? Let us know what you think about the announcement and the impact it could have down in the comments below. As always, your feedback's very welcome. Thanks a lot for watching to the end of the video. If you'd like to help the channel out a bit more, then please check out some of our other content and hit various supportive buttons such as like and subscribe. Super thanks are also open, and there's a link to our Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of this video. If you want to go a step further, then hit the join button, and for only 99p you can enjoy exclusive perks like members only videos and early viewings, plus lots more, and you get to join the list of awesome people that you can see on your screen right now. As always, your contributions are much appreciated. Thanks again, people. My left eye will be seeing you soon.